Hey folks, Grant from Gunspot here for thearmorylife.com. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to clean up your presentation in training. So cleaning up your presentation is really something that a lot of people just think I'm talking about draw stroke, and obviously that's where it goes in the long run, but really I want to show you some techniques that you can use at home in dry fire to improve how you push that gun away from you so that you'll find your sights quicker. If you're running a red dot, you'll find the red dot quicker and have the sights, whether it be red dot or iron, on the spot that you want to shoot. So the technique that I'm talking about, or the starting technique that I want to talk about, is we want to avoid, as a new shooter or someone that is struggling in finding the sights once they've rush the gun out of the holster. And that is, don't incorporate the full draw stroke into the technique. Now that's important. I'm not saying neglect it or don't ever do it, but what I'm saying is if we have a problem finding our sights and we have a lot of corrective time of getting all those things together out on the target, one thing you can do is break it down into smaller component chunks of the draw stroke. So what I typically have folks do is clear out their gun and then bring two-hand support to the gun, come from the high ready or high compressed ready position, and what you're looking for is you want that gun in the transition of where the gun is coming up out of the high ready and leveling out onto the target. And so you're going to be starting from there, and you want to capture the front sight in your peripheral vision. And so you're going to take that front sight in your peripheral vision, you're going to pick a dot or something on the wall, a target or whatever, and you're going to drive that sight to the target. And so you're basically playing pin the tail on the donkey, to use a kid's game here, and I'm driving that front sight out onto the target. And what you're going to find is, as soon as you do so, those sights automatically drop into alignment as long as you have your grip angle figured out. Now, very rarely is it going to be left to right wrong, okay? As long as you have a proper grip and support hand grip on the gun, and you're not allowing your wrists to break as you're pressing the gun out, the front sight is going to drop right evenly into that rear sight. You're bringing those sights up into your focal plane, and they're going to settle onto the target. Now, if you're running a red dot, you don't even really have to worry about the irons anymore after that dot becomes visible to your viewing plane. Okay, so I'm going to see the front sight, drive the front sight, and as soon as the dot becomes visible in my eyesight, I'm going to then drive the dot to the target, and I'm going to finish off with a trigger pull. So I'm getting a good dry fire repetition as part of this technique of driving the sight to the target and getting that hit. Now, once you feel either bored or really successful with that, and that's always a problem. You know, we can make training so rigid in building muscle memory that our mind kind of checks out, and we don't want that to happen. But once we've achieved relatively good success in capturing that focus, then we can incorporate another step into it. And so my second step is we're going to start with the hand on the gun in proper grip. Of course, our support hand is staged where it needs to be, and we're going to start from here. So we're going to grip, or I'm sorry, we're going to rip, rotate, acquire that grip, and then we're right back into that first version of the technique. So we're adding a piece to the puzzle. Ultimately, we'll go all the way to grip, rip, rotate, grip, high sight press, and trigger squeeze. So we can piece the three segments together to build a higher level of efficiency in our personal technique as we establish good muscle memory habit. As we're learning this in dry fire, one thing you can do that it helps me to connect it to the reality. And the reality is, at some point, I'm going to take dry fire out to the range. I'm going to put it onto real paper. You know, I hope that I'll never have to draw on a human being again, but if I do, I'm going to need lots of real world time on targets in order to bridge that gap between training and reality. But I can take a target like the Phase 5 target or dot torture or any number of other things, and I can print that off. I can stick it on my bedroom door and use that as a visual training aid. And I'm going to pick out a spot. You know, I could use a 1-inch square or whatever, and I drive to that in my dry fire training. And I would say that if you just spent 2 to 3 minutes a day, and I know it sounds really minimal to say 2 to 3 minutes are going to make a big difference in your life as far as building technique, but it really will. 2 to 3 minutes a day, you would see marked improvement in relatively short time frame. Now, 2 to 3 minutes when you're actually doing it is going to be hard for you to not mentally check out. So that's why I say 2 to 3 minutes. Sometimes it needs to be broken down into 30-second time frames. You know, I'm gonna focus really hard for 30 seconds and do 5, 10, 15 reps, and that's good. And maybe a little bit later in the day, maybe if I'm feeling motivated, I'll go back and do it again. But very rarely do people handle long duration periods of dry fire and are able to keep themselves mentally engaged in the activity. So a little bit goes a long way in improving your skill set. Okay, so let's go out there, let's put this into use, and remember, train hard, your family deserves it.
Hey there, don't close this video out yet. First of all, let me thank you for watching this video on the Armory Life. Now what I want you to do is head over to our Gunspot YouTube channel, watch some videos, and be sure to subscribe over there. Gun-related channels like ours need your help to grow, so help us grow our channel. Go check it out.